Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's Wrestling Uncensored. Tonight on the show, we are previewing AEW Revolution. We're watching AEW Rampage right now, and we're recapping everything that happened on Smackdown. Ricochet, new Intercontinental Champion. Few matches made for Wrestlemania. Johnny North is here. I am here. Let's start the show. I'm here, and I'm not lying to you. Johnny North is here, too. Silent by Deadly wanted to know right off the bat. Shout out Silent, shout out Alex Tarris, shout out Woods MMA UK out in London, England. Ringside Report Network is live around the world on YouTube, on Twitch, on Facebook. Welcome to the show. This is where pro wrestling lives and breathes. This is where mixed martial arts comes to you. And we give you winning picks, as we gave you last night for UFC 272 on Ringside Report MMA with Freddie and AJ. Freddie and AJ will be back with me tomorrow night at this time, 10 p.m. Eastern, for UFC 272, the pay-per-view watch-along. Looking forward to that tomorrow night. Looking forward to a big weekend in professional wrestling as well. We've got AEW Revolution coming up on Sunday. I'm going to be going to a WWE house show Sunday night and watching AEW Revolution a little later. So no coverage for AEW Revolution. Kind of like a break for me, but I get a double dose of pro wrestling. WWE coming to beautiful Laval, Quebec on Sunday night. Going to see Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre and Ronda Rousey on Sunday. And, of course, we saw Ronda Rousey tonight in action for the first time on Smackdown against Sonya Deville. Let's start with the main event, John. Actually, before we get to the main event, how are you, Johnny? How's everything in Johnny World?
I guess okay. I mean, SmackDown was all right tonight. Rampage started off pretty decent. Can't complain. Weather's getting better. Fingers crossed. Things are good.
I can hear you tonight, and you can hear me, so that's a big step forward. Compared to last week, we had technical difficulties on a Friday night, but seems like everything's going well so far tonight. Although before the show started, we did have another issue, but we're on now, and everything's good. So I'm hoping for the best here, Johnny, and SmackDown tonight. Not great. I'm watching a pretty awesome match right now. AEW Rampage is going on. Andrade, Sami Guevara, and Darby Allin are having a triple threat for the TNT title. And what I've seen so far has been pretty damn good. This match is... I mean, these guys are some of the top performers, especially Darby and Sami Guevara. These guys have been two of the top guys in AEW for a long time as far as going out there and having a great match every time they're in the ring. And this one no different.
What was it last week where we had Sami versus Andrade? That was really good too. So not too surprising, like make a triple threat. I thought this was the match we were going to get for the pay-per-view. So kind of glad we're still getting it at all. But not surprising that, something like this would be pretty good. Also goes to show you too, like in most triple threats, it's usually two heels and a face, but this works too. Two faces and a heel, it still works.
I feel like Andrade needs this too. He's been not that impactful in AEW. He hasn't really come in and been a force in the company. I thought that he would be a more important player when he came in, and he's really just kind of been on the sidelines. A TNT championship run would be huge for him. I feel like he needs it more than the other two guys. Which is saying a lot, because Andrade should be a little bit more established given the fact that he's the only guy that's been in the WWE and he's had that TV exposure. But in AEW, he just kind of seems like a bit player. Whereas Darby and Sami, they're stars in AEW. Super chat. Right? Andrade's just kind of a guy there. He's very talented. I've always been a fan. But they haven't put him in anything meaningful. So this feels like the most important match of Andrade's AEW career.
I don't know about that. I mean, I thought the match with Cody was kind of somewhat of a big deal. Like that even was like a pay-per-view as well. So that was kind of a huge thing. Like, he didn't win that, so I guess that was kind of like, you look at it like he hasn't really done much because he hasn't really won any feud really yet. So it would be nice to see him win something like this, but I don't know. To see a title change on Rampage right before the pay-per-view, very surprising. Hopefully he doesn't get pinned though. If anything, I think he shouldn't get pinned.
Super chat, super chat, super chat.
Well, if Andrade doesn't get pinned, then what? Darby takes the fall and Sami retains? Or do you think Darby wins this match? This is an interesting match. This is pay-per-view level. AEW Rampage is doing it big. This is a live Rampage too, right? They are in Orlando tonight, and they'll be in Orlando all
Florida.
weekend. Yeah, they've got the Fan Fest Orlando tonight, the Fan Fest tomorrow, and then the pay-per-view again in Orlando on Sunday. So this is, the lead into the pay-per-view. This is a big show for AEW right now. I could see a title change. I could see Darby winning. I could see Andrade winning. I could also see Sami walking out still TNT champion. This is an interesting match. How do you see this one playing out? Shout out to Silent by Deadly dropping a super chat with the hippopotamus emoji there. Hippopotami? There's 3 little hippopotamuses. I think it's hippopotami, right? John? A little help.
I think you're right, but either way, I'm going with Sami to retain on this one. I don't think there will be a title change. It is nice for it to be live, Rampage. I think it needs to be live more often. It feels more exciting when it's live.
Give me a prediction for the winner. I think Andrade might become TNT champion here. What did you say? Sorry. I was looking up.
Sami, I think.
Sami retains.
Will retain.
Okay. I was looking up the plural of hippopotamus, and it turns out either is correct. Hippopotami or hippopotamuses. You could use both. Well,
it's good to know.
Yeah, it is good to know, John. I'm educating you, okay? Trying to expand your horizons. Not just wrestling, but vocabulary as well. This is a hell of a match so far, and I'm enjoying it. AEW Revolution coming up on Sunday. I'll give you the card. Of course, you have Hangman Adam Page defending the AEW World Championship against Adam Cole Bebe. CM Punk versus MJF in the dog collar match. Britt Baker, the DMD, defending her AEW World title against Thunder Rosa. Keith Lee, the Orange, Power Hobbs, Rick Starks, Ward Lowe, and somebody else, a mystery person.
Oh, they can the mystery person, apparently.
They can the mystery person? So no mystery person, just the winner of Christian and somebody?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. What's Darby doing? Oh, coffin drop from Darby on Andrade. 1, 2. Oh, Sammy Guevara stops him. Sammy's going to pin Andrade and retain. John, you were correct. Andrade taking the fall, too. I don't know.
That's wow. That's really too bad. Oh, well. He'll probably win at the pay-per-view.
I guess. Andrade will be teaming up with Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy against Darby, Sting, and Sammy Guevara. You really think they're going to win at the pay-per-view against the Stinger? Has Sting lost in AEW?
They may have lost a 6-man. Was he not teaming with Moxley as well? Or didn't they probably win that as well?
I feel like Sting is not lost in AEW.
Well, Sting definitely hasn't been defeated.
No.
Sting and Darby Allin as a team, no.
With Sammy too?
You might.
That's a strong team.
But with somebody else though.
Yeah, but then you got Andrade, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy against them. That's not a very strong team, especially considering Andrade taking the fall here. But Sammy Guevara went to shake Darby's hand after the match, Darby walking away from Sammy, so maybe some dissension in the team will cause them to lose in the 6-man tornado tag team match set for Sunday at Revolution. We'll also see the Jurassic Express defend their tag team titles against Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and the Young Bucks in a triple threat. Jon Moxley goes one-on-one with Bryan Danielson. Chris Jericho one-on-one with Eddie Kingston. Jade Cargill defending the TBS title against Ty Conti. And on the pre-show, you got Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander and Hook versus QT Marshall. So a huge AEW Revolution show coming up on Sunday. Shout out to Doug Hepburn, member of the team, watching us here tonight. Go to join.ringsidereport.net if you're not a member. Join.ringsidereport.net or click that join button beneath me if you're watching us here on YouTube. Become a member, support the Ringside Report Network so we can keep on giving you quality wrestling and mixed martial arts programs. Keep giving you winners for Saturday night. Cannot tell you enough that Kobe Covington is an absolute lock tomorrow night. Cannot stress that enough. A lock.
Seemed debatable last night, but for the most part, you guys.
Who was debating it? We all picked him.
You know who was. Yeah, you picked him, but there was some debate about it.
I think Fred was more debating than AJ. Fred was thinking I was disrespecting Masvidal. I'm not saying Masvidal is a bad fighter. I'm just saying he will lose to Kobe Covington, and I don't think this is the greatest main event for a UFC pay-per-view. It doesn't determine a world championship. It doesn't determine a number one contender. It's just kind of a bad blood type of feud between two guys that talk a lot of trash. It's okay. I'm watching it.
So the trash. Today.
I'm watching it.
Wow.
It's just not my most anticipated pay-per-view, you know? It's not my most anticipated main event. I was more into the Cyril Gane, Francis Ngannou main event. You know, there have been bigger fights for me. Fred is from Brossard. What do you want to... Rolando wants to know where is Fred from. He's from Brossard. What are you talking about? He's from here. He's local. Hepburn wants to know if Masvidal wins, how does he do it? Doug, I think he knocks out Kobe if he does it, but it's not going to happen. Masvidal does not win. If he wins, it's by knockout, but nah. Come on. Kobe's got that fight, I think, in the bag. I think that's my lock of the night. I see no realm of possibility where Masvidal beats Kobe. I see Masvidal as maybe top 15, and Kobe's like the number 2 welterweight in the world. The only guy beating Kobe right now at 170 is Kamaru Usman. So, Rolando says he doesn't
Well, the
think...
fight makes sense then.
He doesn't think Fred and AJ get along. No, they do very well. We're all very good friends, and whatever kind of joking around on the show is all joking around. We're all, like, very tight. Johnny can attest to that. Freddie and AJ love each other. Those guys, come on.
If I'm not mistaken, they kind of rolled with each other more recently than you have with them, so yeah.
Yeah, well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, John. But
Just saying that, you know, they can roll with each other, like, can't hate each other that much.
it's been years, I think, since that's happened. And AJ, I would roll with AJ, but he's scared of me. AJ fears me. You tell AJ said that. He's scared. All right, AEW Revolution going down on Sunday. Let's get to the preview here while we're on the AEW talk, while we're watching Rampage. Oh, holy shit. It's Druid Abrahantes in the ring doing a promo. I got to hear some of this.
Well, tell me what he says.
Oh, it's goofy as hell. He's standing in the ring with Pac and Evil Pentagon. And Abrahantes is still wearing this, like, ghoul robe
White
thing.
face.
And he's got, like, makeup on. He looks ridiculous. And he's trying to cut this promo. And it's ridiculous. What is this druid robe that he's wearing? This is one of the worst gimmick ideas AEW has ever had. This is worse than the original Dark Order. What the hell is this? This Alex Abrahantes thing is garbage. Oh, now Malachi Black is talking. You know what? I don't need to hear this. I'm good.
Okay.
Buddy Murphy and the other guy are with Malachi Black. They're in suits. I think they're backstage talking to the other guys. I don't know. Like, the lights went out, and it seemed like they did a backstage promo. Oh, but now they're ringside, behind Pac and Pentagon. They're all in suits.
There's no match for the pay-per-view with this, no?
No, there's no match. I mean, this is all dumb. this goofy, like, wannabe dark side Undertaker stuff. What the hell is this? This is some of the worst stuff in AEW right now. This Malachi Black goofiness, this Pentagon, Alex Abrahante stuff. What the hell is this? Eric Rowan's here. Eric Redbeard, as they're calling him, a.k.a. Eric Rowan, formerly of the Bray Wyatt faction. He's marching to the ring, and I think he's like backup for Pentagon now. That's what it looks like. Oh, this guy makes Brody King look kind of not as impressive. Here comes security to separate these guys. Oh, Redbeard pushing security and going after all the guys. Okay. Well, it looks like Eric Rowan's in AEW now, John.
Well, we saw him once before. They did the
on the Brody Lee tribute show. Yeah, but it didn't seem like he was going to be... I mean, that was a long time ago. Interesting they decided to bring him in. I say why not, though. He was, pretty good. Big. Got a great look. He took out the Malachi Black team, and now he's taking out security. Pentagon and Pac are just watching him do this, too, by the way. Like, they didn't really help. They're just kind of watching. Okay. So Pac and Pentagon have a new friend, and it's Eric Rowan. How many guys have Pac and Pentagon been associated with since they started in AEW? Right? Wasn't Pentagon with Eddie Kingston for a while?
Yeah.
They're always kind of bouncing around, and now they got Eric Rowan with them. Ugh.
Well, I'm guessing Phoenix isn't coming back anytime soon, so I guess they need a backup.
Like, it's a bad story. It's a bad angle. It's a bad gimmick. And they just keep adding ex-WWE guys into it. Last week it was Buddy Murphy. This week it's Eric Rowan. And it's like, oh, all right. Well, it's nice that these guys are in AEW, I guess. But what they're doing is not that great. I don't like this whole thing. The Alex Abrahantes robe promo was just...
Right.
Do you like it?
I can imagine. I mean,
like
I didn't get to hear what he
no,
said.
But the Malachi Black, like, Mist stuff and Evil Pentagon, and you saw Abrahantes in the druid costume.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Thing is that they're all pretty good wrestlers, so I can not mind, like, kind of ridiculous story as long as the wrestling's pretty decent, and for the most part, the wrestlers are all really good. So
yeah, but wouldn't it be better if their story was a bit better too? Like if the gimmick was like less goofy? Like I get it. They are talented wrestlers, and I'm happy they're around, and sure, I agree with that, but man, the booking could be a little bit better of that stuff, but hey, what are you going to do?
We watched over 20 years of The Undertaker do a bunch of, silly stuff, but that was fine, so I can put up with it.
It was better than this. Like, it was a little bit, it seemed, the production value, the guy believed it a little bit more. Like, don't compare Alex Abrahantes in the goddamn ghoul costume to Paul Bearer. Paul Bearer was excellent. You know what I mean? Like, he was good at this. Alex Abrahantes is not good at this.
Well, they're trying something with them. I mean, I don't think it's a good idea, but they clearly like him a lot, so they're going to give him a shot. What's going on with Dan Lambert now? Dan Lambert was talking? Like, what did he say?
He says he's bringing Paige Van Zant to Revolution because she's going to sign her AEW contract there. Paige Van Zant still going to wrestle in AEW, and I guess will be full-time in some way.
Okay, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, something else for the pay-per-view. They already have like 11 matches on this thing. Do they need a Paige Van Zant contract signing segment? I guess they do. This is going to be a 7-hour pay-per-view, John. I hope you're ready. Buckle up. It's going to take forever.
I can just go to sleep and just watch the rest tomorrow. Like, that's the great thing about these pay-per-views. Like, You can buy them and you can watch the replay whenever you want. So no problem with that.
And you don't have to watch the whole thing because you don't have to do a post show with me. So you get the night off too.
Handy.
Yeah.
Handy.
Oh, they got Keith Lee and J.D. Drake in the ring for a match now on Rampage. I like J.D. Drake. He's good.
He's good, but he's just going to get destroyed here.
Yeah, well, that's fine. He should. It's Keith Lee. You got to push Keith Lee. How about this pay-per-view? Let's get to some of these matches and some of the predictions. Hangman Page against Adam Cole. I mean, I think the match will be all right, but I don't see Adam Cole winning the title. I'd be disappointed if he did. I really don't think he will. I think Hangman wins the title. I think the match should be real good, but Hangman should retain. I don't want to see Cole as AEW champion. At least not right now. Not in this current incarnation. It's not working for me. Not on a world championship level. This kind of Hangman feud has been crowbarred in for Revolution. It's been okay, but I'm just not buying it. So I think you're with me on that, right? Hangman should retain.
Yeah, if they would have given this a better build and, even build up Adam Cole to a place where you could believe he would actually become the champion. But, he lost his last feud going into this, and then he's going to become the champion. It's kind of hard to believe. Like I said, he needed someone to beat at this pay-per-view to believe he could actually become the champion, but they give him the title shot right away. Like, I think they just went for who could give Adam Page a good match. And Adam Cole can definitely do that. There's no problem with that, but there's just no belief in the fact that Cole's going to win. And it's too bad because this is more than likely going to be the main event. So there's going to be a lack of suspense, sadly, to end the show.
Unless they do something at the end of the show to kind of give you an extra, like if this is just straight up Hangman Cole, end of the card, good match, but Hangman winds up winning, and then we just Fade to Black pay-per-view over, I think a lot of people will be like, yeah, was that it? Like they almost need Kenny to return or something to happen after the match to make it worthwhile as a main event to this pay-per-view. They only do 4 pay-per-views a year. You got to make them special. What can they do? You think they do anything, or it's just a straight-up Hangman wins and that's it? Good night, everybody.
I think as long as the finish is good, I don't think you really need anything extra. But unless you have a clear idea of what you want to do for Page at the next pay-per-view, like Kenny would be a great idea. I mean, next pay-per-view is going to be end of May. So it comes up sooner than later, really, when you think about it. So something like that would make a bit of sense. But, I mean, they always like to do the surprises. I mean, and there's definitely no shortage of that, what they could possibly do. So it could happen. I don't think it's really needed, though. I think just have a good wrestling match. That's all they got to really do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the pay-per-view would end kind of flat if they just had a good old match and Hangman won. Because you expect exactly that. You expect, a good match. Hangman wins. You got to give us something a little bit, got to expect the unexpected, pal. You got to give us something a little extra, I feel, on one of these pay-per-views. I mean, the match could exceed all expectations and just be one of the greatest matches ever, and that's how they give us what we want, But you got to send the fans home happy. I don't know if just a Hangman win in a match that's just not that anticipated is going to be enough to create a buzz that you want after a pay-per-view like this.
Well, I think enough's going to have happened already by that time where it's like, I don't think you'll need extra surprises. I think just have a good match. I think people will feel they got their money's worth. Because other matches are going to be, I think, the main reason why people want to go there. So,
yeah, I think the dog collar match is really what we're all here for. CM Punk versus MJF. MJF won the last encounter with CM Punk. MJF left CM Punk a bloody mess on Dynamite. Is this CM Punk's revenge? I think it is. I think Punk gets the win here. I think they both bleed. I think it's probably match of the night. And CM Punk gets a win over MJF and then maybe moves on.
Well, I could actually see this go another match. Possibly not the pay-per-view, like another pay-per-view, but I can see them do one more. Because if you think about it, MJF beat him twice already. Because they restarted that match, so in a way, he kind of beat him twice. They just had to restart it. So you could say they need another one. I mean, a rubber match in a sense, right? But yeah, I think Punk gets the win here. This is his revenge, because MJF got the advantage going into this, so it makes a lot of sense.
I could see this one continuing past this, but I would kind of like to see it kind of 1-on-1, and the next time we see them wrestle, it's for the belt. Revisit
That's
it
a good
later
idea.
on.
Yeah.
I don't know if
That'd
you
be
need
nice.
to resolve it with a tiebreaker match now. I think the feud is so good. Like, yeah, you gave MJF a win, you give CM Punk a dog collar win here on pay-per-view, and then maybe Punk can move on, get into the world title scene, and then in a few months you revisit Punk and MJF, and right? Could work.
Yeah,
Could work.
They could definitely do that. Yeah, it could work.
I mean, they could go to any number of directions. Harold Schneider dropping a big super chat. Thank you, Harold. $25 super chat. He is super chat leader of the night with that one. He says, thanks again for being a trooper last week and for Johnny carrying the show while you worked it out. Well, thank you, Harold. It was difficult last week, and Johnny did carry the show, did a great job. Johnny's the best. I could not depend on... I'm glad it happened during the wrestling show, and it didn't happen when it was just like me and AJ or something, because then AJ would have been solo, and that's dangerous. I don't trust that. I know that the show is in good hands if I'm not there and Johnny can just kind of take over,
Well, it was good just to get everyone's feedback, too. That kind of helped guide the show a lot, was just getting everyone's responses.
Yes. It's great to have the feedback from the Ringside Report universe. What's happening here at the end of this Keith Lee match? I thought I saw Ryan Nemeth and Cesar Bononi, and what is happening?
Well, that's his little group. That's his group, right?
Yeah, it's JD Drake's group. But what happened? I didn't notice. Like, was there a finish to the match? I don't know.
I'll tell you once it finishes for me.
Oh, okay. I've got Ricky Starks and Will Hobbs on the ramp about to go and do something to Keith Lee, but then Orange Cassidy seems like he's making the save for Keith Lee. Just strange.
All the faces help each other,
Mm-hmm. Ethan Page versus Christian Cage coming up here on Rampage, and the winner gets a spot in that ladder match. But yeah, CM Punk MJF dog collar match. So we're both predicting Punk to win this, John. How about it? Should be great. I'm looking forward to it. The build has been tremendous. This is the match that everybody's looking forward to. Ooh, a CM Punk promo as he's being stitched up with blood still on his shirt and face that we're seeing now that was done after Dynamite on Wednesday. Ooh. Sorry, but when CM Punk speaks, it's hard to not watch him talk, He's pretty good at promos, John.
Yeah, he's all right. He's passable, Can get the job done.
He's one of the greatest of all time, man. You kind of forget after all those years away. And he came back in AEW and he was good, and it's been good, But this MJF stuff, it's like, damn, man. He is one of the best ever. When CM Punk is in his element at peak form, there's very few better to have ever done it, In the ring, on the microphone, he's so damn good. And it's crazy. Like, I thought maybe he'd lost a step. Maybe he wouldn't be that same guy that he was in, 2010, 2011. But he is. He's different, but he's just as good. He's just as good as he was. He's just as effective. He's just as important to the company, to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like this match with MJF, it's hot, you know? Like, it's got buzz. This is a big one that people are excited about. And a lot of it is MJF, who's an incredible, phenomenal talent, who looks like he's going to be one of the best to ever do it. But CM Punk really showing that he is still the man. He's still one of the best wrestlers of all time. It's incredible.
Well, I felt like when he came in, like it was a big shift when he came in, like, and the show slowly became about him. He became the star of the show, like what CM Punk was going to do. And we're seeing it now. Like, he's not the main event, but I mean, he, in a sense, is, because it's the match people care about the most.
Yep. It really is. And I can't wait for it. The other guy that I think is probably one of the greatest, he's definitely one of the greatest of all time. I'd put him second only to Bret Hart as far as my favorites. Bryan Danielson. He's wrestling Jon Moxley. This match not as hotly anticipated as the CM Punk match. This has not had the heat or the build. Because a lot of this has been about, well, we're going to wrestle and then maybe we'll team up afterwards. It's kind of hard to build a wrestling match around, well, we don't like each other, kind of, but we'll probably be friends afterwards. It's hard to believe the heat, you know? It's hard to believe the animosity when it's just like, well, let's have a good old match and then afterwards we may team up. Or we may not.
Right.
You know, it's like a weird build to a match. It's not usual, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of hatred, even though, like, there's a sub-story to this where Moxley kind of looked up to Bryan Danielson at a time and has never defeated him, and he needs to beat him to feel good about himself or whatever, right? So there's that, too, going on. I don't know. The build hasn't been great, but Bryan is, and he's going to have a hell of a match with Jon Moxley, and it may be match of the night. As great as all the other matches should be, and Punk and MJF and all of that, when Bryan Danielson's on the card, he can steal the show. You know that, right? I mean, that's just how it is. He's another one of these guys who's one of the best ever. He could steal the show. Moxley and Danielson could be great. It could be average. I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect.
Right. Well, I just don't have high expectations for this. I mean, we've seen it in WWE, and I find it's just been all right when it's happened. I mean, they're good at talking.
Yep.
They can hype up a good fight. I just find like it's a styles clash when they wrestle each other. So I don't know if that's really going to work out too well in a regular singles match. I think maybe if this was no DQ, anything goes. I think that plays more into what Moxley can do, and Bryan can play off that better. But if this is just mainly what Bryan can do and Moxley has to keep up kind of thing, I don't know how well that's going to work.
Moxley said he did want to bleed with Bryan, so there may be some blood involved, but Bryan says he doesn't need weapons and all of that stuff to bring the violence, and I think it's going to be a straight-up wrestling match. There's no stipulation to this. And I agree with you. I think it might be tough for Moxley to keep up with Bryan Danielson. Not a huge fan of Dean Ambrose. I do like Jon Moxley quite a bit more. But I still don't I don't count Jon Moxley as one of the best ever, you know? When I talk about the CM Punks and the Bryan Danielsons and Kenny Omega and Adam Page, you know, I put those guys on a different level than Jon Moxley. They're on the main event level. Moxley's kind of a step behind. Not to say he's not a great talent. He's just, I don't see him as like a top level main eventer who's going to have a classic match every time he goes out there. He's capable of it, but it's just not on a consistent level. His style is not really my style of wrestler. It's all preference, you know. People love Jon Moxley. But, yeah, I don't know. I think Danielson wins, too. I don't think Moxley beats Bryan. He wants to, but too bad. He doesn't beat him. I'm going with my man D-Bry, as I always do.
Well, it's tough, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with Bryan as well, because it feels like for this story to progress the way I think it's going to go, I think Bryan has to win, or Moxley has to realize, like, if I can't beat him, I'll join him.
Mm-hmm.
But if he beats him, why join him? So I feel like Bryan has to win.
I agree. I think Bryan Danielson will win. And I look forward to it because I love Bryan Danielson. I think the match will be good. How about Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston? I think this will be pretty good too. And
Well,
I
this
think
just shifts the other way.
Yeah, I think Kingston wins. What do you mean shifts the other way?
Or it's like, Moxley kind of has to win, but he's not going to win. This is where Kingston has to win, but he will win in this one because he really has to prove himself in this one.
Yeah. Right. Moxley is saying, I need to beat Bryan Danielson because I never have. Jericho is telling Eddie Kingston, you can't win the big one. You'll never win the big one. Both of them need to win. But I think you're right. I think Moxley loses, but Eddie Kingston does win the big one. Jericho's just putting Eddie Kingston over here, which is good. I think the match will be good. I think it would be better if it was some sort of hardcore match. But it's AEW. They could be loose with the rules too, right?
They could be, yeah. It's very possible, but I don't think you'd really need that much in terms of violence for this. I think it'll still be pretty good.
I don't think it needs to be that long either. I think 10 minutes max. Get in, get out, do your thing, and keep it brutal, keep it violent, keep it a high pace, and end it quick.
Well, off Jericho's last match, he knows how to pace matches well and to build up spots right. So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not really worried about it. Jericho knows what he's doing. I mean, obviously he's had some matches where they don't go very well, but
Yeah.
I think he has a good idea what to do with Kingston, though.
I don't know. I'm just not sure if they'll be able to have that chemistry. Isn't Kingston coming off an injury too? I don't know.
He is. I mean, we'll wait and see. It'll be interesting to see what's going to happen in this one.
Serena Deeb just had her 5-minute challenge thing, and she was attacking somebody after she won. And now Hikaru Shida has shown up with a kendo stick and is beating the hell out of Serena Deeb. So the Shida-Deeb feud continues. Okay.
Well, again, nothing we'll see for the pay-per-view. Maybe
No.
the following, maybe
Dynamite.
because they're going to do the Owen Hart tournament for men and women. Possibly we could see that match in that tournament.
Okay. Shida is back. Shida's been gone for a bit due to injury? I don't know.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Well, she's back. Good to see her back. She's a talent. She's somebody AEW needs to keep on TV, keep relevant. She's a former champion. You keep her around long enough, she'll be a star. That's what I think. You just need to keep her around. Yeah, that's it. I mean, she's got something. She's got a good look. She can wrestle. It's just the promo and the attitude. I don't really know what's going on there, but there's something there with Shida. I think you just keep her around. You keep her relevant. I'm just not sure if having the same old match with Serena Deeb is the way to go. How long do you continue a feud with Serena Deeb before people say, why? I'm kind of at that point. How about the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker AEW Women's World Title match here? That's a big one. Does Britt drop the belt?
Well, I felt very confident that she was going to after this, but this week happened, and I feel very differently now, sadly, where it's that was a huge step back they had this week, where that tag match really soured me on this whole match. I wanted to see this match at the main event, but after that terrible tag match, I'm not looking forward to this match at all. I feel like there won't be a title change because I think they realized they lost the heat.
I don't think there's going to be a title change because didn't Thunder Rosa pin Britt Baker in that tag team match?
That too, yeah, makes more sense too, sure.
You pinned her on Wednesday night, you're not going to beat her on Sunday.
week prior was holding the title up too.
Yeah, she's just getting too much over Britt. Britt's going to get the win. Thunder's getting all the over because Britt's going to get the win in the end. I feel like they're going to keep on going with this Britt Baker run. But, yeah, I don't think AEW would not give Thunder Rosa the belt because they lost faith in her after a tag team match on a Dynamite. AEW does not mind giving pushes to people who suck in the ring. You know, we've seen that. They're willing to promote wrestlers that have no business being promoted. So, you know, I don't think in any universe the AEW people, you know, Tony Khan and whoever, is making a decision based on somebody's bad wrestling. No matter what they say about Big Swole. I think they're making those decisions based on, you know, whatever plans they have creatively. I don't think they're seeing a match and it's like, oh, that's terrible. Such low-quality wrestling because, you know, we've both seen this company grow and seen the talents that have been featured, and sometimes they're not so good. A lot of times they are, but sometimes, you know, they're terrible, right? So
I just hope they have a better match this Saturday because
they
I
will.
thought this was going to be really good, but I'm skeptical now.
I mean, it was a tag match, whatever. Their match, that lights out match that they had, that really bloody hardcore match that they had a few months ago was tremendous, you know? So I think that they have the ability to have a really good match. I'm looking forward to Britt and Thunder. I'm a fan of both. I think the match will be good, but I think Britt retains. She cheats to win, cheats Thunder out of the belt. That's how I see it going down. How about the face of the Revolution ladder match? We're about to see who the final member of this match will be. Either Christian or Ethan Page. I'm hoping for Christian. I don't think either guy is going to win, so it doesn't really matter for our preview here. Wardlow, Ricky Starks, Power Hobbs, Orange Cassidy, and Keith Lee all in this. And either Christian or Ethan Page, but whatever. Who wins the shot for the AEW TNT title? The current champion is Sami Guevara. So you would think it would be a heel because Sammy's right now booked as a babyface. Not a ton of heels in this match. Ricky Starks, Hobbs, maybe Ethan Page, I guess, if he's in it. Ricky Starks is the FTW champion. I feel like Hobbs and Guevara, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe Starks. I mean, it's kind of tough when you think about it. And it's not impossible where it's like a face could win because they do face versus face all the time. So Keith Lee could easily win this one as well.
Yeah. And then what?
It's almost a toss-up.
And then has a match with Sami Guevara and beats him?
Maybe, yeah. I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, he's super over already, so.
Yeah, but you got to think about, you know, like, whoever wins this match, you got to think about, okay, well, they're going to have a match with Sami Guevara for the belt. How's that going to go? If Keith Lee comes in and from the WWE, you know, gets fired from WWE, 3 weeks later he beats Sami Guevara, one of your four pillars, clean in the middle of the ring and takes the TNT title, I don't know if that sends the right message. What about your AEW, you know, four pillars? What about Sami Guevara? Should a guy from WWE come in and a month later beat a guy like Sami Guevara clean in a babyface on babyface match? Like, if he's a heel, you know, when he does heelish things to win, okay, but like a straight-up babyface that's a WWE reject, for lack of a better term, you know? I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that. I don't think you do. And that's why I don't think Keith Lee wins this match, because it sets up a weird position where you don't want to beat Keith Lee this early, but I don't think you want to have him beat Sami. I think a guy like Hobbs makes sense. He could win the ladder match and not even beat Sami. Or beat Sami. Ricky Starks, you know, him and Sami would have a good match. But he's the FTW champion, which means nothing, but I just don't see him as a TNT champion too. Because he does hold that belt, and, you know, They kind of make it like a belt, but we all know what's really going on. Wardlow's been on a tear. Like, I could see Wardlow winning this match, going on to face Sami, and they do a babyface on babyface match there. And that would be a big one. Like, if they announced, okay, Wardlow won this ladder match, next week on Dynamite, it's Wardlow versus Sami, people would tune in. People that have been following AEW would tune in because it's like, okay, Sami is the champion, and he beat Cody, and he's beat Darby and Andrade, and he's beat some guys, but now he's facing Wardlow, who's on this run. And giving a belt to Wardlow right now wouldn't be the worst thing. I could see Wardlow.
But...
Wardlow, maybe. This is tough to call. Or it could be just Ethan Page, right? And then he faces Sami and maybe wins or maybe doesn't. That would work,
I could actually see Christian as well. Because, out of all the people in the ladder match, who makes the most sense to actually win the match?
Mm-hmm.
Like, logically, it makes sense Christian with the most experience would win.
Yeah.
And him against Sami, that's a pretty good match.
Yeah. And it's a match that doesn't hurt Christian if he loses. He doesn't need to beat Sami Guevara. And it does help Sami another win over a legend like Christian. Yeah. I could see that. If Christian does indeed participate in this match, right? We still don't know because he's wrestling Ethan Page right now.
Yeah, we're still waiting on this one, but I feel like he's going to win.
It's tough to pick a winner.
Think about it.
Can you pick a winner in this ladder match? You want to revisit? Because in about 5 minutes, this Christian match will be over and we'll know. We can go to some other stuff on this pay-per-view until this match is over.
That. We'll come back to this.
All right, we'll see. Because if Christian's in the match, I think Johnny's going to pick Christian. I might too. At last, he's on his own. All right, Jurassic Express defending the tag team titles against Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. I think the Bucks and Red Dragon implode. They fight each other, and Jurassic Express finds a way to win, and they retain the tag team titles. Kind of obvious finish. I'd like for something else to happen, but I just don't think so. I would like to see Red Dragon win and become tag team champions right now. I think that'd be fun. I just don't see it happening.
Like, if any team would win the tag titles, I think that would be most likely. I don't see the Bucks win the belts back, but I agree. I think Jurassic Express, I think they're just going to retain.
Yeah. Match could be good, though. Could be fun.
It's going to be a spot fest.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be. But that's fine. We don't have, I don't think, except for the tornado match, there's no other true spot fest, so I think it's fine. As long as they space it out.
I think it'll be all right. The other match, you said the tornado match. Andrade, Matt Hardy, Isaiah Cassidy versus Darby, Sting, and Sami Guevara. I still think Darby, Sting, and Sami Guevara win. You're not beating Sting on pay-per-view. Nope.
Well, Sting isn't taking the loss, you know that for sure. But I could see there being problems, as you saw. Sami and Darby, there's some issues there. However, there's issues too with Matt Hardy, right? Matt Hardy's kind of acting weird.
Erratic behavior is what they're calling it.
Right.
Like Jeff Hardy in
so
WWE.
That might actually play into it more, and that seems to be a bigger deal. So, yeah, I've actually just convinced myself to go the other way on this one. And yeah, you're right. They aren't going to have them lose. More than likely, Darby, Sami, and Sting are going to win.
That's right. You think Jeff Hardy shows up here? Is this the time we see Jeff?
No, he can't show up until after the 12th, I think.
Oh, okay. Soon, though.
But they'll continue it. That's why I think they might have an issue with Matt and Andrade, and they'll continue that until Jeff shows up, I think. So, but they're gonna have a big, split up, I think, possibly right here.
Yeah, I could see that too. I'm looking forward to seeing Matt and Jeff together. I think that's what you do with Jeff Hardy as soon as he comes in. I heard Ric Flair saying he wants to see Jeff Hardy have a singles run first, but I just don't see that happening in 2022. I
think he'd be better in a tag, to be honest. He's He's okay as a singles, but he's better as a tag.
I just don't see him as a main event world title challenger these days. I think those days are a little bit behind him. I think he'd be more effective
I mean,
as a
it
tag
could
team.
happen.
Yeah.
It could happen.
It's just not that
but
believable anymore.
it would depend who he's wrestling.
A feud with CM Punk would be pretty damn good. They could do something
Right?
there.
Yep.
Yep, there's meat on the bone on that CM Punk feud. I'll tell you, there's stuff you could dig into there. Not bad. All right.
I think him against Sami too.
Yeah, Jeff and Sami, Jeff and Darby.
Yeah,
Seems like
there's a
something
lot of
you need to
intriguing
do.
matches.
Yeah, just because he's in a tag team with Matt doesn't mean he can't have singles matches and even some singles feuds. I would put him right off the bat in a tag team with his brother, do a little run, and then afterwards do some singles feuds maybe. I don't know. Jade Cargill defending the TBS title against Ty Conti. Obviously, Jade Cargill will win. She doesn't lose. It's not happening. Come on. Johnny's favorite versus my favorite. It's the battle, John. Your favorite AEW lady, superstar, and my favorite, that bitch, Jade Cargill. We both have the T-shirts, John.
Yeah.
We're rocking them. We love them.
I think we both know that Jade's going to win. Like, I think there's absolutely no doubt on this one. I just hope it's going to be short because Jade matches are better short than long. So hopefully that happens. I say no more than 3 minutes.
I hope so. She should squash Ty Conti. Real
competitive
quick.
squash.
Christian wins. Christian beats Ethan Page, and I'm going to pick him to win the TNT Revolution ladder match. I say Christian will beat Wardlow, Ricky Starks, Power Hobbs, Orange Cassidy, and Keith Lee. Christian to win the ladder match. John's picking Christian too. Christian.
Actually, I'll go different just because this is so close. The ladder match, it can go so many different ways. I'll go with Will Hobbs, just to be different because I think we have picks all across the board are the same except the ladder match. So I'll say Will Hobbs for the ladder match.
Okay, fine. Here come the Jurassic Boys to celebrate with their father, Christian. That's nice. Layla Hirsch will wrestle Chris Statlander on the pre-show. Do you care?
I think it could be a really good match. I hope they give it enough time, actually. I think Layla's really good.
Who wins? Statlander.
More than likely Statlander, yeah, but I still think it's going to be a good match.
And Hook versus QT. I think obviously Hook wins. And that'll be the first match on the AEW buy-in show Sunday night. I don't think you're going to pick QT in that one. Yeah.
Well, I think it's obvious Hook, but it'll be interesting to see what Hook does differently, if he does anything new.
Uh-oh. So the Jurassic Boys went to see Christian after he won the match, but now here come Red Dragon and the Young Bucks to look at them. Or are they going to come in the ring?
It's always dangerous.
Are they going to come in the ring? Oh, they are coming in the ring. No, they're not coming in the ring. They just wanted to look at them. Oh, Kyle O'Reilly stole one of the tag team belts. And now they're just kind of posing ringside. The show should be over, but they're live, so they're going over their time. It's 11:01, boys. Wrap it up. Rampage is over.
Oh, what else are they going to air on TNT right now?
Kyle O'Reilly's got one of the belts. Matt Jackson has another belt that they've stolen from the Jurassic Boys. Yeah. And then they look at each other, and they both stand with the belt above their head, and then Luchasaurus grabs the belts away from them, and Jungle Boy does a dive on them, signaling what's going to happen at the pay-per-view. They will come out together. They will argue over which one of them becomes champion, and then they will be taken out by the Jurassic Boys. Right?
Well, they gave this match more importance.
Yeah, they added
it's the Young Bucks.
Well, it's the Young Bucks, right?
Yeah.
Ooh,
But Christian looked
countdown.
good tonight, though. You know, it's been a while since Christian wrestled, so it's good to see Christian still, like, hasn't really lost much of a step.
One of his bigger wins in AEW. Has he had a bigger win than this?
Oh, yes, he beat Kenny.
Oh, yeah. That was the biggest win he had. He cheated to beat Kenny, though, so I don't... And he won an Impact belt, so it doesn't count.
Fine.
Cheated to win, and it was an Impact belt, so it barely counts, John. This is bigger. He beat Ethan Page.
He was on Rampage, too.
Yeah, the first Rampage, right?
It was first or second, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that.
All right, well, that is AEW Revolution coming up on Sunday night. And usually we do the post shows for every WWE and AEW pay-per-view, but like I said earlier, I'll be going to a WWE house show on Sunday night, so I won't be watching AEW Revolution live, so I won't be giving you my thoughts right after the pay-per-view, but I will watch the pay-per-view and give you my thoughts on Revolution on Monday night after Raw. We are here every Monday night after Raw, Wednesday night after Dynamite, Friday night after SmackDown, and after each and every WWE and AEW pay-per-view, usually. Rare exception this Sunday that we're not on. But hey, I get to see the WWE live, John. Ronda Rousey, who we saw tonight in the main event of SmackDown. She beat Sonya Deville with the armbar, as if we had any doubt. Before the match, I could tell you how she was going to win. Ronda has some new gear. It says Hot Mama across her chest. It's not a joke. That's really what it says across her chest on her gear. Ronda starts... Did you not notice that? Hot Mama?
I didn't notice it.
Used to say Rowdy. Now it says Hot Mama. You didn't notice the Hot Mama?
No, I didn't notice that, but that's nice.
Well, new gear for Ronda Rousey. She started the match with some nice throws. Charlotte Flair was on commentary, distracted Ronda. Sonya got a chop block, got a little offense in. Not much of anything, just kind of holding Ronda's head and yelling at her. And Ronda eventually fought back with a couple arm throws, an angle slam, and then the armbar. Sonya tapped right away. Ronda invited Charlotte into the ring afterwards. Charlotte did get into the ring for some reason. I don't know why she decided to do that. She got taken down immediately and put into the ankle lock and tapped out. And then the referee, Charles Robinson, Little Nate, of course, he gets Ronda to stop attacking Charlotte. And Charlotte's able to roll out of the ring. So Ronda using the ankle lock now, as well as the armbar. It's a new finishing hold for Ronda Rousey. I think that's the main point of the match. It was okay. It was better than a tag match in the pay-per-view.
The main point was that Charlotte kept saying that she was a one-trick pony. All she has is the armbar. So the idea was that, no, she could actually beat her with something else.
Yeah.
And she showed she could.
Yeah. It was fine, though, right? Didn't do much.
Match was fine. I mean, it was short and sweet, and it's the way it needed to be. I found Charlotte really didn't add much. Like, the fact that she tried to come in with wearing high heels was kind of ridiculous, but whatever. Like,
yeah,
you can be an idiot and try to do that, but that's what's going to happen to you. Fine.
Yeah, her father would have, said he was going to go in, roll in, and then roll out before taking any offense. I don't know why she came in to take the offense, right?
Well, no, you know what he would have done?
What?
He would have taken off the jacket, thrown it down, and, drop an elbow on it. That's what he would have done.
Yeah. And then cut himself and not made any contact with anybody. Anyways. So that was the Ronda Rousey thing at the end of the show, main event for SmackDown. Not the most exciting SmackDown, not the best episode, but things definitely happened on the show tonight, which is all right. We're just how many weeks away from WrestleMania now? They got 1, 2, 3 weeks of
about
TV.
A month away.
3 weeks, less than a month. I mean, it's 3 weeks from. 4 weeks of TV. Sorry, my bad. 4 weeks of TV before, about a month. You're right.
It's going to feel longer because, it's a lot of programming to watch. Plus, you got to get through the Hall of Fame before you even get to WrestleMania.
Hall of Fame is going to be on a Friday night. I think it's just replacing SmackDown.
I think they're actually going to do both, which it seems like it's a lot, but they're going to do it, I think.
Like they're going to have two shows?
Yeah, I think they're going to have the Andre the Giant Battle Royal again on SmackDown.
Okay. But when will the Hall of Fame be airing?
That's a great question. Will it be earlier in the day, possibly, or not? Because they're going to sell tickets to both.
Okay.
I wonder how that's going to work out.
No, as far as I know, they're selling tickets. It's a package deal.
Oh, it's a package deal.
The
Okay.
Hall of Fame and the SmackDown is a package deal. You can buy tickets. It's one ticket. It's for both. So they're recording them all at the same. Well, I mean, not at the same time, but might be like Hall of Fame and then SmackDown type of deal. Or
it would be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how they're doing it, how it works exactly on the Friday night, but I do know that it's a 2-for-1 ticket. You get SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. It's all in the same night in the same arena on the Friday.
It sounds like a long night for a Friday, too. Damn for us.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's WrestleMania weekend, John. It'll be fine. What did you think about the way they started SmackDown tonight with everybody kind of doing a short promo? Paul Heyman and then Ronda Rousey and Sonya Deville and the Viking Raiders and the Usos and Ricochet and Sami Zayn. I didn't love it.
We've seen this before, though. It's not the first time they've done something like this. And I don't mind it because, it kind of hypes up the show. It's more than just, graphic. It's like these guys actually talk and tell us what they think about what's going to happen. It's something different. They don't do it all the time. I didn't mind it because it kind of hyped up what you're going to see tonight.
Yeah, but it just feels fake, because, everybody's going to do, a 2-line promo, and they have so many people doing it. And they used to do stuff like this, in old school WWF, on pay-per-views and stuff, they have, everybody doing, a couple of lines. But just the way they did it, I don't know. It just felt odd. I was like, oh, they're doing this now? And they could have got to the point a little quicker with graphics. They didn't need to sit through these promos, but whatever. It was short enough. It's just Heyman starts, and it's like, okay, Heyman. And then Ronda Rousey, and you're like, okay. Then Sonya Deville, and you're like, all right. And then the Viking Raiders, and you're like, how many guys are going to do these little promos? Then, of course, once the Viking Raiders are there, the Usos are going to do them, and you're like, okay, we're good now. And then Ricochet starts talking, I'm like, what's he talking for? But then he had a match with Sami Zayn. That was pretty good. Probably the match of the night on SmackDown tonight. Ricochet beat Sami Zayn to become the new Intercontinental Champion after a distraction from Johnny Knoxville and a nice Hurricane Rana flippin' roll-up thing that Ricochet does. It's pretty cool. Doug agrees with you. He liked it. He liked the opening for SmackDown. So it is a little different. Was something different. I just didn't think anybody said anything of substance. I was kind of like, yeah, I don't need to listen to what anybody's saying here, It's kind of like, I have a match tonight, and I will win. Okay. Cool. Good for you.
Well, again, just something different.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's not a big
as long as
deal.
they don't do it every week.
Yeah. It's fine. Ricochet and Sami Zayn, though, that was pretty cool. Man, that finish to the match, not the Johnny Knoxville distraction, but the Hurricane Rana thing that Ricochet did was pretty damn sweet.
That was good. Ricochet did a lot of great things. He did a great little, cartwheel, moonsault to the outside. He took, I think it was a head and arm on the ring apron from Sami, if I'm not mistaken. Suplex. There was a lot of good spots in this match. They did a lot of good near falls where you thought Ricochet might win. And it didn't seem like he was going to win because, he thought Knoxville versus Sami, that was going to be WrestleMania for the title.
Yeah.
Nope, not going to happen. So,
yeah. And
to
Sami
me, this
just
is easily
won,
the best.
Too. He just won the
He
belt,
won,
right?
what? It was 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago, February 19th, I guess, right? Or 18th, right before Elimination Chamber. So, yeah, like it's kind of shocking that he lost right away, but that's what kind of made this interesting to me. I don't know about you, this is the best thing on television match-wise that I've seen from WWE this year.
On like a regular TV show, you think this is the best match that they've done so far?
Oh, by far. I'd even rival this with maybe some of their pay-per-view matches. I didn't get to see all of Elimination Chamber, but I can't think of things that would be better than this.
You thought it was that good?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was all right. I wasn't amazed by the match. It was pretty good. I wouldn't call
Like,
it the
it's
best
rare.
match I've seen on TV.
But I bet you can't think of a match where it's like, oh, that match was better kind of thing. Because I'm sure there's not a lot of top contenders right now.
No, they haven't done a lot of good matches on TV. I mean, okay, maybe by default this one wins, but I wouldn't even say that. Yeah, I don't know. I can't come up with a better match in the past couple of months on WWE TV. They haven't done a lot of great matches on TV. Pay-per-view matches, though, I think they've done some better stuff than this. But it was pretty good. It was definitely the best match that I saw on Smackdown tonight. I thought the Andrade, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin match was a little more fun, though, on Rampage. But, you know, whatever. All good. All good wrestling.
It's a little tougher because, like, we are paying attention, but not completely paying attention. So I may miss a spot or two. So it's kind of hard. Like, unlike with SmackDown, like, you watch it pretty much start to finish kind of thing. So it's a little bit different, but possibly. I mean, it was probably easily the best thing on Rampage tonight, without question.
Mm-hmm.
Christian's match was good too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Sami Zayn, after he loses the Intercontinental title, is mad. He's upset. He's backstage. He wants a match with Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania. And I'm thinking, didn't they already make this match?
Not official. Like, Knoxville challenged him.
And Sami
but,
refused.
Sami never.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is to make Sami accept. And then Johnny Knoxville interviewed later on in the show, and he accepted the challenge. So it is finally official. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Non-Intercontinental title match for WrestleMania. So Ricochet will be defending the Intercontinental Championship against somebody. Or maybe many people.
Or maybe not. Or
maybe
he's
not
just
at
genuine,
all.
won't defend.
Yeah, that's possible too. Okay, well, he's the new Intercontinental Champion. You figure, though, if they give him the Intercontinental title, maybe they have an idea on something to do with him for WrestleMania with the belt. Or maybe this is just a way to further the Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn storyline, and that's it, right? Like, this could just be, well, we want to have a reason for Sami to accept the match, so he's going to lose the Intercontinental title, and we'll give it to Ricochet, and we'll figure out what to do with Ricochet, but this is really about Knoxville and Sami. Right?
Well, I definitely think that's the main thinking behind this, without question. Like,
yeah.
they could easily just do a multi-man like ladder match for the IC title. That always works at WrestleMania. I think there's a tradition with that, so that's always a great idea.
Yeah.
I think, but it's also kind of lazy if they did that. So I don't know if they would do it.
It's a way to get a lot of guys on the show, though. You know, a lot of these guys just want to be at WrestleMania.
I agree, but
good
I
way
mean,
to do it.
If you look at guys they put in the ladder match, there's really not a lot of top tier guys, because at least when they do that kind of match, they try to put like some decent stars in there. But like, besides maybe what Sheamus and like Alpha Academy, like, is it really top stars? Like, even that's not even top stars. Like, Sheamus somewhat, but that's about it.
You're talking about throwing Sheamus into a ladder match? I mean, I guess, right?
Just because he's a star, he's a name value, doesn't have a match.
Yeah. Him and Ridge Holland are doing something with New Day. I think that's all going to play into a tag team title match with multi-teams getting involved. You saw the Usos tonight retain the tag team titles over the Viking Raiders. I thought that was a really good match. I like that one. I like the Usos. I like the Raiders. I thought the match was good. But before the match, Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs were making an entrance for some reason, and the Usos attacked them from behind. And then Roman made his entrance and did his promo with the Usos standing with him. Shinsuke and Rick Boogs never came back. They never, like, you know?
Right.
I thought they might come back and cost the Usos the tag team titles with the Viking Raiders, you know? You attack us. There's a long promo from Roman Reigns. Then the Usos and Raiders have the match. Like, you would think Shinsuke and Boogs had time to recover and come back and get some revenge, but no revenge. Usos win. But you would think maybe they'd be lumped into some sort of multi-tag team match for WrestleMania with the Usos and the Raiders and Nakamura and Boogs and maybe even Ridge Holland and Sheamus and Kofi and Big E.
It's a decent idea. I'm not sure exactly which teams are going to do in that. I'm seeing maybe that possibly it's, Shinsuke against Roman after WrestleMania. I could see that easily because WrestleMania Backlash comes up pretty quick, so I could see that match going down.
It's not really
believable. I'm not saying this is the greatest thing in the world, but this is what happens. Like, you had Cesaro at WrestleMania Backlash last year, no?
Yeah, I guess. I feel like Drew McIntyre is going to be up next for Roman after
but that's
Mania.
Too big, though. Like, for WrestleMania Backlash, it can't be that big, though.
I could see a rematch with Brock, too.
Well, yeah, sure, but is Brock going to come back right away? Usually Brock takes a vacation after WrestleMania, no?
Yeah, but sometimes he sticks around for a pay-per-view afterwards.
It's a good point, yeah.
I could see a rematch.
Shinsuke.
I'd be surprised if they bump Shinsuke up to that spot. And also, no one would believe it, because Shinsuke has been nothing for so long right now. It's just hard to buy him going up against Roman. Roman cuts a promo with the Usos and Heyman with him. He tells the people to acknowledge him. He says he and Brock are defending their titles tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. Roman says some people don't want Brock to make it to Mania, but he wants Brock to make it so he can deliver the WWE Championship to his tribal chief. Roman says he's going to hold both belts above his head at WrestleMania while $5 million worth of fireworks pop off around him after he has smashed Brock Lesnar. Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary from Roman. Kind of standard Roman Reigns promo. Not as good as last week. Last week, Roman, when he got out of the ring and started saying, "These are my people, this is my show," when he got all mad, that was pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
Tonight was kind of like same old with Roman. Nothing special. It was fine.
Well, he got mad again a bit at the end.
A bit. But not like last week. Last week was good. This was kind of like a mini version of last week. You know what I mean? It was kind of like they took last week's promo and shortened it and kind of gave him less to do, and there you go. We need Roman on the show. Here he is. Not a lot of purpose.
I think the main purpose was just to sell the MSG show tomorrow. That was the main thing for this, was just, hey, still get your tickets for that because that's a big show. And they seem to be hyping that there will be a title change. I don't think there will be a title change, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see highlights on Raw and SmackDown next week from MSG.
How bad are they hurting for tickets if they're just is nothing sold for this thing? Oh my God! You could buy so many tickets. They're
It's
nowhere
expensive too.
Yeah, but they're nowhere near sold out, John. Look at this. Look at all these sections you can still buy. This is tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. They've got tickets in every section. Look at all that. Look at all those blue spots. All those red. All the colorful dots are unsold tickets for Madison Square Garden WWE tomorrow. See those blue dots? None of those tickets are sold. You could buy those. See these seats right here? that are really good.
And really
I mean,
expensive.
Yeah, I mean, they're $220 each, but goddamn, pal, you could get tickets right there. Those are great seats right there. You're there. The ring is like, you're right above the fans on the floor. Those are tremendous seats. People in New York City have money. You know what rent is in New York City, John? They can afford $225 wrestling tickets. Although maybe not anymore because they got to pay rent.
It wasn't that long ago
pandemic.
that they had a show in New York. No,
Good God.
like I feel like they weren't there that long ago. Was it not December? Like
Yeah,
they were in
maybe.
MSG?
Maybe, but are you not surprised that they are hurting so bad to sell tickets? Like, they are struggling.
But I think they got to realize that for like house shows, like maybe people just aren't interested that much, especially when they come so often in certain areas. They always come like to New York or Boston all the time. People aren't probably going to show up because they're like, well, come all the time and this is only a house show. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I guess, man. I don't know. It's the main hub for WWE, though. It's the kind of home base, and they're struggling to sell tickets. Surprised. Doug Hepburn dropping a super chat. He says, nice job tonight, guys. Off topic, Dave, have you seen the Seinfeld Lego? Yeah, I've seen it, and I've built it. I actually built the whole Seinfeld Lego set for my mom, who bought the set, but doesn't really like building Lego, but she wanted the set to kind of display because she loves Seinfeld. So
That's cool.
Yeah, I built it for her because I love building Lego. I don't really need to display it. So worked out for both of us. She bought the set. I got to build it, and she gets to keep it, which is fine with me. But yeah, it was fun to build, and it's a really nice set, the Seinfeld Lego set. I highly recommend it. I love Lego. It's fun. It's fun to build. A nice, relaxing activity. It's like meditation. All right. What else do we have here, guys, on the SmackDown show that we saw? Corbin and Moss backstage having a poker game with a bunch of jobbers. Corbin talks about beating Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Then Drew McIntyre wrestles Jinder Mahal and beats him with the Claymore kick. And then Drew cuts a promo after the match talking about Corbin. This is some of the least interesting stuff going on in the WWE. Corbin seems intimidated by Drew. They go back to Corbin and his poker friends. It was like, come on. And then later on in the show, Corbin and Moss are back in their locker room with their poker buddies playing darts now. And Drew McIntyre shows up and sticks his sword into the dartboard. Whew. There's a lot of that stuff tonight. Like, a little too much, Backstage promo that went on too long. The match with Jinder that no one cares about. A post-match promo that's boring as hell. And then another mini promo with the dartboard. Good God. Ugh. Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin. If vanilla was a match.
Well, my main complaint is the fact that trying to build that Happy Corbin has an undefeated streak. And I think Derek John pointed out, like, oh, well, in singles matches, he's undefeated. However, they pinned him at Survivor Series. So that's not an undefeated streak when you've been pinned. So I think it's a little ridiculous. They're hyping this up as a big thing when it doesn't really exist.
I mean, nobody believes. I mean, nobody believes Drew is gonna lose to Corbin, right? Like, they're trying to make you believe that Corbin, he's on an undefeated streak. It's like, yeah, but he's wrestling Drew McIntyre. Like, come on now. Well, come on. Get out of here with that bullshit.
Corbin had a decent WrestleMania resume, but he lost to Elias out of nowhere for some reason at WrestleMania. That kind of hurt his WrestleMania resume.
Did he really?
Remember that WrestleMania, was it 36?
I mean, everything Corbin does is forgetful. The only thing Corbin has done that I remember is he beat Kurt Angle, and the only reason I remember that is because it's fucking offensive. That piece of shit wrestler retired Kurt Angle. That no talent, big vanilla doofus jabroni No fucking wrestling ability, no charisma, no promo, no nothing. That the WWE just keeps fucking putting on TV constantly. That piece of trash beat one of the greatest wrestlers of all time in his last match ever at WrestleMania. Fucking retired him in a nothing match. Baron Corbin, who is the drizzling shits, who if he got fired from WWE tomorrow, no one would be like, oh, I hope he shows up in AEW. People would say, I hope he doesn't show up in AEW. Baron Corbin, newest member of the Control Your Narrative fucking wrestling promotion. That's where he would wind up. Have you seen that, John?
No, I haven't really seen that.
You haven't seen anything about that? The controversy around that? The EC3 Braun Strowman wrestling promotion that they started?
What's the problem with it?
I don't know. I think they're fighting cancel culture one wrestling match at a time or something. Like, it's got a political ideology behind it. It's strange. I don't know what's going on. They have no booker. No one's in charge. It's like all wrestlers. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, that never works. When wrestlers are in charge, that doesn't work.
How are you going to do that? I want to go over. Well, I want to go over. I think I should be champion. Well, I don't think you should be champion, Braun Strowman. I'm the biggest guy here. Make me champion. Oh, okay. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. I can't wait to see their first show. Like, what is that going to be? I think they've had a show already. I think they're having shows. I don't know what's going on, but I'm interested in the Control Your Narrative wrestling promotion started by EC3. There's like controversy brewing around that, and it's worth paying attention to, I think. I mean, not in a, hey, I'm a wrestling fan and I want to see a good wrestling promotion, but in a, hey, what the fuck's going on over there? This could be a Dark Side of the Ring episode kind of in the making, so I'd like to watch as it unfolds. Could be some fun shit to talk about, John. Just saying. You might want to pay attention.
Well, if I see anything,
yeah,
I'll keep my eyes open.
Yeah, keep your eye open for CYN. Look out for it. I think it'll be interesting to see it crash and burn, honestly. Naomi wrestled Carmella in a 2-minute match. She beat her after the moonsault thing. What do you call that moonsault again? I couldn't for the life of me remember what it was called. Split-legged moonsault. Thank you. It just fucking came to me as I was saying it. The split-legged moonsault. I don't know why we don't say split-legged. Why do we say legged? Does anybody say legged in any other way, any other context? Legged? Split-legged moonsault. I don't know why we say split-legged moonsault.
I think it just sounds better.
I don't know, because now that I think about it, legged sounds fucking weird to me. Legged sounds better. Split-leg moonsault. Why don't we just say the split-leg moonsault? Why do we have to say legged? What is legged? Legged isn't a thing.
No, but it sounds better, though.
No,
so I like it.
I'm calling it a split-leg moonsault. Doesn't even make sense. You know what legged means, John? Having legs of a specified kind of number. What? An example, bare-legged, legged. I don't know if it's legged or legged. Let me see. Hold on, I can get a pronunciation here from the dictionary. Legged or legged?
Legged.
Legged. It is legged. Say it again. You hear that, John? Say it again. Say it again, motherfucker.
Legged.
You hear that?
I heard legged.
She doesn't want to say it again. Hold on, say it again.
Legged.
Legged. All right.
Yeah, I heard it.
Hey, I was wrong. Legged.
Now AJ's here for you.
Legged moonsault. What up, AJ? AJ's going to come over tomorrow night. We're going to have a good time. Doug Hepburn says, AJ here's naked. Take it easy, AJ. Doug Hepburn says, Dave, you should have reenactment wrestling shows with figures and impressions. I mean, people do that on YouTube. I don't have the video editing skills to really put that together. And I also would feel weird playing with wrestling toys on YouTube. But I think grown men are doing that. And I find it strange. And other people are watching it, which I also find strange. I don't know.
You kind of already have done it
Yeah.
in the past, in a sense.
With the puppets behind me? They're not puppets. They're just
Right.
giant wrestling guys. Yeah. I've done that.
But use them as puppets.
Yeah. That's right, John. We do. Oh. Anything else happen on SmackDown? Naomi beat Carmella. Sasha was with Naomi. Zelina was with Carmella. Why was Natalya watching from backstage? Is she going to have a tag team partner and be involved in this women's tag team title match thing? Why was she watching? Why was that a thing?
I kind of hope there's more teams involved with that, because I don't know about you, just that match by itself, it's not great. I'd add more people just so it'd be a little bit more intriguing, even though I don't know too many more teams that could make it more intriguing, like Natty and somebody and
Beth Phoenix.
Leah. Yeah, Beth Phoenix could work.
Please.
I feel like it's going to be Shayna Baszler, though, no?
Nah, maybe. I just think Beth would make the match an attraction that you would care about. Shayna doesn't, add anything to the match. If Beth Phoenix is there, it's like, oh, there's a Hall of Famer in there. That's cool. You know?
I completely agree with you. I just don't know if they'll do that, though, because Natty's a heel. Beth would come out as a face.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't
know
know
if they'll do it.
But you could switch Natty babyface easily because who cares? You know? Natty's barely a character on TV.
I agree. But that also takes away from the other teams, because that team, it's more over than the teams that are your featured stars, in a sense.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura did a Toyota commercial, which was weird, right? You saw that? That was like a promo.
Well, they did one last week, too.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice. I probably skipped over it thinking it was just a car commercial. This week, they go out and they're doing their entrance, right? And the Usos attacked them. But before they did their entrance, it was a commercial break, right? And before the commercial, they're telling us coming up next is Roman Reigns. Right? They said coming up next, Roman Reigns. Then we come back from commercial, Nakamura and Boog start doing their entrance, and you're like, what the hell's going on here? And then the Usos attack them from behind, and then Roman Reigns comes out, makes his entrance, does his promo. We forget about Boogs and Nakamura. What are we to believe Boogs and Nakamura were... What were they out there for? Why were they making an entrance at that point in the show? We were told that it was Roman time. Boogs and Nakamura come out, not for a match, not for any... I don't know what the reason was that WWE is trying to give us as to why they were even coming out at that time for the Usos to beat them up. It was weird.
Well, we've seen them before actually just come out, they do an entrance, go around the ring, and then just leave. They've actually done that before one week.
Yeah.
So that was my belief, was that they're just coming out there, they do the entrance and leave. That's it.
Maybe that was it, John. Maybe you're right. Yeah. And Austin Theory, of course. Hey, we can't forget about this, John. Austin Theory comes to the ring, says Mr. McMahon is here tonight, and Vince set up Pat McAfee by going on his show and inviting him to have a match at WrestleMania. So Vince was on the Pat McAfee show and invited him to have a match at WrestleMania, and McAfee accepted. They didn't announce an opponent, but then tonight Austin Theory says Pat McAfee is a loudmouth and everybody wants to shut him up, and he's going to do just that at WrestleMania. And then he slaps Pat McAfee and leaves. McAfee looks mad. He stands on the desk, wonders who Austin Theory is. He doesn't seem to know who he is. And, Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory is the match at WrestleMania. Not Pat McAfee versus Vince, although I'm sure Vince will get involved somehow because Austin Theory has been kind of his protege over on Raw. Which is strange that this is happening on SmackDown, because you would think If you're just a SmackDown viewer, you would have no idea what Austin Theory and Vince have been up to on Raw, but I guess they figure you're aware of whatever's going on there.
Well, to me, what just seemed very off-putting was, I don't know if you noticed, like, Pat McAfee, like, his face had, like, fake tanner on it, yet the rest of the body didn't. So I don't know why they made that call of having his face have tanner for whatever reason. I don't know if, like, some sort of thing with the lighting. They knew that he was going to get the slap across the face and it would look better, possibly. I don't know. But it actually just looked like garbage, like that his face is all orange and the rest of his body isn't.
I think what's more offensive is that he's wrestling at WrestleMania. And like Doug's saying, this could be the worst WrestleMania match ever, which is saying a lot because Undertaker worked Giant Gonzalez at WrestleMania 9, and that was terrible. But this could be worse. This could be worse. Although,
I don't think it would be that bad.
it may not be as bad as Miz and Jake Paul versus the Mysterios. I mean, that could be really bad, too. A lot of matches on this WrestleMania show could be just horrible. But this is, again, nothing that I'm looking forward to. Pat McAfee and Austin Theory, like, God, call me when it's over. I cannot believe how many matches they're throwing on this WrestleMania over 2 nights. So many of them I couldn't give a fuck about. I just want to fast forward over the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. My daughter might be born a week early and I'll get out of it. I'm hoping she does me the favor, honestly. Hope she's born a week early. That way I don't have to cover WrestleMania. Give me a good excuse to get out of that bullshit.
Well,
kidding.
they've announced a bunch of the matches for day one so far, right? For the WrestleMania Saturday. But like Drew and Corbin, that's happening WrestleMania Saturday.
Okay.
And I think Becky and Bianca, that's also happening Saturday. So I guess that leaves the debate, what's the main event? I still think it's going to be Charlotte and Ronda, but I'm sure some people think it's going to be Becky and Bianca.
No, Ronda's obviously the main event. Becky and Bianca's cool and all, but Ronda Rousey's Ronda Rousey.
I honestly think they might start with Becky and Bianca, I think.
Yep. I agree. I think Becky and Bianca probably starts it off. You got Charlotte and Ronda, Becky and Bianca, Rey and Dominic against Miz and Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre versus Corbin on night 1, Saturday, April 2nd. And night 2, Sunday, April 3rd, you got Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha and Naomi, and Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. They announced the match tonight, and already they know what night it's going to be on. Night 2 of WrestleMania. Pat McAfee and Austin Theory doesn't have a night so far, and Edge and AJ Styles doesn't have a night either. We were hoping for AJ. That was good news on Raw this week, right? AJ Styles versus Edge.
Right.
It's going to be good.
The best case scenario. Best thing that could have happened for sure. Didn't they say the women's, or maybe it's not confirmed, that the women's is going to be night 1 as well? Women's Battle Royal?
I don't know. I don't see that on my
yet.
Wikipedia page, so not official yet. Not official yet. But Doug's saying should only be one night, too diluted, and that's, exactly my point. I think the whole wrestling business is too diluted. I think it's way, there's too much fat. You got to trim the fat. You got to get rid of a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of talent, but then there's a lot of guys that are not talented, and they're on TV too. And I'm not just talking about the WWE. It's WWE and AEW. There's too much programming and too many wrestlers to fill those programs, and a lot of them are just not ready for the big time. A lot of them are, and a lot of them are not. And unfortunately, sometimes these promoters can't figure out who is ready and who isn't ready. And some of the people that aren't ready get TV time over some of the people that are ready. And that's why we see the shows that we see. I mean, if the WWE had one roster, they can make a pretty good run of it. If AEW, featured some guys less and some guys more, they'd be doing all right. But overall, it's too diluted. I think there's too much wrestling overall. Some of it is really great, but yeah, I think 2 nights of WrestleMania is just an example of where the wrestling business is right now. More programming, and it's just it's quantity over quality right now across the board in pro wrestling. And I don't see us turning a corner where it's going to go the other way. I don't see the quantity going lower. And that's why I said Wednesday night, I think keeping Ring of Honor around as a company is a bad move. It's just like, you don't need another wrestling show. We don't need more wrestling shows. If there's talent in Ring of Honor, move them to AEW and make your AEW shows better. You don't need another wrestling promotion. You don't need another wrestling show. It's too much, especially run by the same people. That's not going to compete. A subsidiary of AEW. There's no reason to continue to run Ring of Honor. I think it's just too much. And then you continue to segment the fans. Like, some people only like this, some people only like that. If AEW didn't exist, I'd watch NXT, but there's just too much wrestling. I don't have time. I try to keep up, but, there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so much wrestling you want to watch. You don't want to watch that much wrestling. I watch tons of wrestling, and I still don't watch NXT. I watch more wrestling than the average person, believe me. And there's still a lot of wrestling that I'm not watching. Johnny, too. You watch tons of wrestling. There's still tons of wrestling you're not seeing. You haven't seen one game-changer wrestling event all year. Neither have I. But they've done some stuff. You know what I mean? Like, Matt Cardona's doing stuff we're not watching. You know what I'm saying?
I saw we did an NWA.
Okay. But Impact Wrestling, when Ring of Honor was running, NXT, like, there's a lot of stuff we're not really paying attention to because there's too much.
Right.
So why add Ring of Honor? Why add more stuff that people aren't going to watch? Why not just kind of consolidate and give the viewers the best possible product out there? Quality over quantity is what we should be aiming for. But I don't think that's how you make money, right? You got to keep on putting product out so people buy it or not. That seems to be the way wrestling companies are operating these days. Just put as much shit out as possible and hope people latch on. I don't know about you, but if there was one show a week, it would be must see. It's like, there's only one wrestling show a week. I have to see it. But if there's like a dozen shows a week, it's like, well, I'll watch one of them or 2 of them. I'm not going to watch everything, right? It's a little much. That's why I think Ring of Honor should disappear. I really do. Take the tape library, hire a bunch of the people there. But another wrestling company, especially if it's not even trying to compete with AEW, I don't see the point. I think AEW would be better off. I think wrestling fans would be better off, and the wrestlers would be too. If you put on a higher quality product too, people are going to come in. People are going to start watching. You're going to get new fans. Some of the reasons why wrestling isn't getting the numbers that it used to get is because, people tune in and they like what they see, and then they see some other people that suck, and they're like, well, I'm not watching this. And then they stop watching. If it was altogether good, more people would tune in, and it would be better, and everybody would be making more money. But I don't know. I'm no businessman, John. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not how you make money in wrestling these days. But seems like a pretty simple concept to me. Put out the best product you possibly can. Don't dilute it. Put your A squad on every week. Forget the B squad. Keep them as backups for your dark and AEW dark and all that stuff. Give me your A squad, your A show every time, and improve on that. Don't try to be nice and, well, they're here, so let's get them on the show. They haven't been on the show in a while. Let's try to fit them in. Why? We're not trying to get a participation medal here. We're trying to put out the best possible show. We're trying to get the most people to watch. Trying to bring back a boom, bring back some money. You know? It'd be nice if the WWE had no problem selling out Madison Square Garden. Like, I was talking to my brother, you know, and we were saying how back in the Austin days, like, people don't really understand. Like, if you didn't live through the Stone Cold Steve Austin era, you don't really get it. But back then, it was hard to get a ticket for a house show. Like, when the WWF would come in the late 90s, 20,000-seat arenas would sell out the day they would go on sale. Immediately. Right?
Right.
Like, you couldn't get a ticket for a house show. It was hard to do. Now, they can't sell out an 8,000-seat arena. Like, they're doing arenas half the size, and they're still not selling out. They're selling like 4,000 tickets for these shows. Whereas back in the Austin era, like in the peak, you know, they were selling out arenas in minutes. I mean, not to mention the pop, right? I mean, good God. You remember how loud it was when Stone Cold Steve Austin used to come out? It was crazy.
Of course.
Never heard anything like it. The guys today don't come near it. The volume. It's insane. And people that watch Austin on TV and hear the stories and whatever, you'll never understand it unless you lived it. Like, you'll never get the magnitude of how over Steve Austin was unless you were in those arenas and you heard that sound. It was something else. And I think we were spoiled because we lived through that, and it'll never be that good. It'll never be that big. Wrestling will never be that important. Not because of the talent. I think mostly because of the people running it. And just the way entertainment is these days, there's more options, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I think wrestling is great. You know, I'm a big wrestling fan. You are too. I think it could get back to that point. I really do. I think that there's the talent, there's want, there's a fan base that is ready for it. The right pieces just haven't been put together. I thought AEW was going to be the company to put it all together, and I'm not sure anymore. I think they're doing a good job. They're my favorite wrestling company right now, but they're not doing all the things that they needed to do to get to the point of bringing back a wrestling boom. And WWE's not doing it either, so there we are.
It'll be interesting to see what happens at the house show this Sunday. How that's going to be like, the atmosphere.
I mean, it'll be dead. It'll be typical. You've been to these modern era house shows. There's no vibe. It's not the same.
Never been at Place Bell, though. I don't know what that's like.
It is nice. I actually like it. I went to a house show there. I guess it was December 2019, last time they were here. 2019?
Makes sense.
Is that how
Makes
long
sense.
it's been? Jeez.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And I was at the Place Bell there in Laval. It's a nice building. It's like a smaller building. You know, the Bell Center where they usually go is like a 20,000-seat arena. This one's like a 10,000-seater, 8,000-seater. So it's nice. It's a more intimate setting for a WWE show than what you're used to. You feel closer to the action. So it's pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. Going to take my son to his first wrestling show. It's just, you know, it was easy to get tickets. You know, it was very easy. I got them.
I don't know if it is now.
What do you mean?
Can you still get tickets? Or
yeah.
did they... Because it's only 50% capacity, no?
No, it's 100% capacity. It's 10,000 seats or less. Capacity arenas can have 100%. If you're over 10,000 seats, I think you're still at 50%, but that'll change real soon. Right? The rules are changing every day here in Quebec and everywhere around the world. It seems like we're finally starting to crawl out of this pandemic. Maybe, hopefully. Well, doors open at 5:30 on Sunday. Show starts at 7. in Laval, Place Belle, and you can still buy tickets. Not hard to buy tickets. Bunch of tickets still available. Good God Almighty. Again, like this is my example of back in the day, it used to be hard to get tickets for these shows. Now, look at all these sections that you could buy tickets in. You could buy tickets on the floor. Look at all these tickets on the floor you could buy.
Not as expensive.
Bunch of floor seats. Not as expensive either. No, John. Way cheaper than Madison Square Garden. Are you kidding me? How much is it for over here? These are good seats over here. $90 a seat right here. Look at that. You're sitting right there. The ring is right there. Those are good seats right there. All there. See that? Over there. Those are all good. $90. You go see this WWE show. Easy. Bunch of tickets still available. A bunch. And this is an 8,000 seat arena. Not even close to selling this thing out. Not even close. Tell me about the drawing power of. Tell me about the drawing power of Roman Reigns, John. Tell me that Roman Reigns is a big draw. Come on now.
Gotta understand, like the show was like postponed. Like people didn't know if the show was going to happen. You were not very confident in the show happening at all. So like, I'm not surprised. Some people probably just said like, well, I'm not going to this. It's probably not going to happen.
Maybe people don't know that it's happening. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still, if Stone Cold Steve Austin was coming to town, people would have bought tickets, pandemic or not. In 1999, you know what I mean? Like, it would have been a easy move. Bunch of tickets available for Madison Square Garden. Bunch of tickets available for Montreal on Sunday. It isn't what it used to be. And John, finally, before we go, I found some new wrestling toys today that I'll show you now.
Is it more?
I don't know if you've seen this Bret Hart here. You saw this Bret Hart, this WrestleMania Bret. I think I showed this to you, right?
You showed that one, yes.
Yeah, okay. This is a WrestleMania Bret. And if you collect all four of these things, you get to build the Vince McMahon figure. See that Vince there? There's a build-a-figure.
Yeah.
So here in this Bret, you got a pair of legs to build the Vince. And then over here, you got Stone Cold Steve Austin. You got the Texas Rattlesnake Brother. There's Vince's head. It comes with Stone Cold. You get a Vince head. Comes with this.
Okay.
And then today, I was able to find the other two and complete the set.
So that means you need to get extra.
Why?
Well, actually, no, you don't want to open the Bret, right? You need an extra Bret.
Yeah, I got to crack these bad boys open to create the Vince. Here's Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Is this when he wrestled Undertaker? Is this Taker gear?
I think so.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Like the white?
I think so.
Yeah. And there's Vince microphone and Vince arms in this one. And hands. Extra Vince hands, I think. See the arms there and the microphone. And then here is Uncle Alan Jones. It comes with Vince's torso. There's the torso with the little bow tie. And there's AJ Styles, the Boneyard match AJ Styles. Comes with a shovel. See that? Got a little shovel.
It's nice.
Phenomenal one. So I got the full set, John. The full set. All four of the brand new WrestleMania Elites with the build of Vince character. And oh yeah, John. Got me 2 Bretts. You know I got 2 Bretts, baby.
Right.
You always get
important.
2 Bretts. That's a rule. That's a rule, man. As a Bret Hart fan and a figure collector, you see a Bret, you get 2 Bretts. These are hard to find, and I got 2 Bretts. People will be like, how come you got 2 Bretts? Because I'm good at finding shit, that's how, okay? I'm goddamn talented at finding things. I'm the world's best shopper. I found Skittles gummies. You ever had... No, you don't eat candy, John. Skittles gummies. Tremendous. Maybe the best gummy on the market. I find everything. Yeah, Doug, it is a cool Bret figure. It's a damn cool Bret figure. And I've got 2 of them. Oh, yeah. It's cool. It's from his match with Vince when he came back at WrestleMania. Like post, Screwjob, the return of Brett, when he came back and wrestled Vince. So he's wearing like the T-shirt and the jean shorts, like the new Brett T-shirt,
Right.
I like that. I like that they're like specific to a WrestleMania. I don't know what the Austin is. Like Austin's hard to tell because he basically wore the same gear all the time. But he's got double knee braces, so it's probably a later WrestleMania. Maybe the last one. I don't know. And yes, Matthew Henley, I'm going to the WWE show on Sunday, but Johnny is not. Right? Have things changed?
No.
No?
Staying home. Probably sleep early, too. Maybe we'll watch AEW the day after. Who knows?
You watch AEW Revolution till you get sleepy and fall asleep.
Or just go to sleep right away. Take your time with it. There's no rush to watch pay-per-view.
I'll be watching a pay-per-view tomorrow night with AJ. AJ wants to auction off a Bret Hart figure, and he wants to start the bid at $5. Well, that's way below what the starting bid would be, AJ. So I'm gonna say no on that one. I mean, we could auction one off, but the starting bid would be somewhere around $30, at least I'd say. Probably 40. All right, so I'll be here tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, for the UFC 272 watch along with Freddie and AJ. We'll be watching the pay-per-view with you, watching the fights, and then Sunday night I'll be at the WWE show. Maybe I'll see Matthew there. And if you're there, you can say hi to me. I'll be with my son, but you can still say hi. It's all right. And, and then I'll be back here to talk wrestling with you guys on Monday night after Raw. And I'll tell you what I thought about Revolution. And then, of course, on next Wednesday night after Dynamite, Johnny will have seen Revolution. I'll have seen Revolution. We'll have seen the latest episode of Dynamite. So we'll talk about Revolution and we'll talk about Dynamite, and it'll be a whole big, fun AEW spectacular next Wednesday here on the Ringside Report Network. Right? Yes. Yes, Dave. Thanks, John.
I mean, we'll wait and see. I mean, if you can remember what happens at Revolution, hopefully it's good, because maybe I won't want to watch all of it if it's not very good.
Whoa. You're going to watch all of it. What are you... Don't lie to me, John. You're going to watch everything. What are you going to skip?
We'll see. Like, you get to like 3 hours in, suddenly you're like, oof, this isn't worth watching anymore. It gets too long. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is. It's not worth watching. You
can watch it in segments. You don't have to watch it all in one go.
Right. Well, wait and see how it works out.
Okay. Well, I will watch the whole pay-per-view for you guys so I can review it for you, and Johnny might. So hopefully he does, but maybe he won't. I don't know. Silent by Deadly, thank you for dropping the super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you to Doug Hepburn for dropping a super chat as well. Thank you to Harold Schneider. You're the super chat leader of the night. Thank you, Harold. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the Ringside Report Network. All the members, don't forget to join. Join.ringsidereport.net, and that's join.ringsidereport.net. Shout out to Doug, who is a member, of course, longtime member, and a good man, Doug Hepburn, out in Kingston, Ontario. Thank you, Doug. And, of course, thank you, Harold, for being a member as well. And the super chat leader of the night, my man, Harold, I believe in Montreal. And thank you to you, Johnny North, for being a friend.
That's what show is it?
Don't worry
Golden
about
Girls, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. You're a champion, John, and thank you, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, for the UFC 272 watch-along. It's going to be a party tomorrow night with Freddie and AJ right here on the Ringside Report Network.